When launching a candle business, there are so many things you have to think about, and inventory is definitely one of them. For me, I had no clue how to start when I launched my first collection. Today, I wanted to share the considerations I'm taking for launching my next new collection. Subscribe and hit the bell if you're a budding candle maker looking to start and grow your own business. You can also follow me on Instagram at Luna London Candles. Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Ashani and I'm the creator of Luna London, a home fragrance company. If you'd like to check out my store, you can click on the first link in the description box below. On this channel, we talk about candle making and selling candles online. So the first thing is, what is your launch? Essentially, it's just basically opening up your store and telling everybody that you're open for business and they can now purchase your products. As I mentioned, I literally had no idea of how many candles I would need for my launch. My first launch was a collection of 12 different fragrances because I had a Zodiac collection, so it needed to be 12. Now looking back, I would say that 12 candles is way too much for your first launch. It was really overwhelming and I would recommend new makers to launch between 4 and 6 different fragrances. Starting between 4 and 6 scents is a really good starting point because you basically have a variation. You can vary up the type of scents you want to put on your offering to people. And then based on what they buy, you kind of have a good indication of what scents you should carry on in the future and what scents not to do in the future because they're just not working out. When I launched my Zodiac collection, I essentially made one of each fragrance or one of each type of the Zodiac. And the reason for this is because I had no idea of what people would buy and whether I would sell like more within the Zodiac season. So for example, I launched in November, which was the Sagittarius season. So if I took a guess, I thought I'd sell more of the Sagittarius, but actually that wasn't true. I sold kind of a variation of everything, which meant that I couldn't really figure out specific trends in people's buying habits, which meant that basically I was making to order each candle, which is not a position you really want to be in, especially if you're getting a lot of orders. It can be very overwhelming to make to order because, you know, with the 3-day processing time, it's just a lot to get everything ready and made and then sent out. So looking forward at launching my new collection, I am going for 3 different scents this time, which is a huge reduction from what I had before. And these are some of the considerations that I've gone through and I hope it helps you too. So number 1 is the time of year. When you launch your collection can be a huge factor to how many units you sell. For example, if you launch in the run up to Christmas, you probably would have a lot more sales compared to if you're launching your collection in the run up to summer. So factoring any major holidays that are coming up in the run up to you launching is something that I would definitely think about. For example, my new collection is in the run up to Valentine's Day and I have a feel for which candle would sell more because it's Valentine's, and I'm going to basically make more of it because it's my intention that that will be the one that will be most popular for this time of year. Number 2, have you built up hype? The second thing you want to consider is the marketing efforts you've done in the run up to your launch. Someone who started maybe a month or 2 before their store launch is going to do better than somebody who may have just popped up the day before and said, hey, I'm launching a store, unless you have a massive following. And the reason for this is because if you started a month or 2 ago, you've had all this time to basically share like behind the scenes and help people feel excited and part of your process of like growing your brand. Whereas if you popped up just the day before, firstly, you may not reach everybody in time. They might not look at Instagram or social media that day and miss your launch date. Whereas if you started a month or 2 before, it wouldn't matter if somebody took even a week-long break because they would still somewhat be aware that you're opening your store and know that you kind of have this date in mind of when you're going to open. So the difference between these 2 approaches can really also impact your inventory. So someone who may have started a month or 2 before may have a little bit more inventory than someone who started the day before and started marketing the day before. Number 3, organic and non-organic traffic. The quantity of traffic you expect to have at your website can really determine how much inventory you'll need. Non-organic traffic is essentially somebody who is going to be placing adverts or using influencer marketing to drive traffic to their website or their Etsy store or wherever you're planning to sell. Organic traffic is solely relying on your friends and family's reach. Your reach is essentially how many eyes you can get on your product. So like if you look at your Instagram insights, you would be able to see how many people are viewing your stories or how many people are liking your posts or engaging with your posts, saving your posts and that sort of thing. So that will give you a good indication of what your reach is. Someone who's deploying non-organic traffic, so like we said, influencer marketing or ads, may need to have more inventory or higher inventory than somebody who's solely relying on organic traffic. And this can really depend. If you have like huge amount of organic traffic, then obviously that would be fine and you would need as much inventory as somebody who is using non-organic traffic. But when you're deploying ads or speaking to influencers, it's really important to understand what your potential reach is. So if you've not used Facebook ads before, it will give you an estimated reach. And also when speaking to influencers, you can ask them to see their insights so you can understand what their reach is, so you can kind of get a good idea of how many people your product will be exposed to. Number 4 is conversion. So once you've understood what your traffic and reach is, it's important to understand that not everybody that comes across your page is going to buy something. You'll have a conversion rate. So a good conversion rate is about 2%. So of every 100 people that visit your store, you will sell to 2 people. If it's your very first launch, so when I officially, like, let's say opened Luna London, my conversion rate was a lot better than 2%, and that's because people are willing to like support you. So I think maybe for this launch it may be a bit lower because everybody who wanted to support me managed to buy a candle the first time, so maybe they won't like feel the need to like buy again, if that makes sense. And now I'm trying to target fresh audiences rather than like relying on friends and family to buy my candles. One thing I wanted to mention about social media is, like, if you're posting to Instagram, just be aware that about 10% of your followers actually see your stuff. So it's really important to create engaging content rather than just trying to like look at vanity metrics and trying to get lots of followers. Because what I've seen is some people feel like the need to buy followers or feel like they need a really high number because it will make them more successful. But this really isn't the case. I've seen people with a really low following make so much money because they've got a really engaged audience, because they've created content that really resonates with people. So I would say don't stress yourself out if you don't have a lot of followers. It's not important. If you're making really engaging content, if you're like really talking to your specific target audience, you'll probably have a lot higher conversion rate compared to someone who may have thousands of followers. There was someone, I can't remember where I came across it, but they had thousands of followers, but they only had like 100 or 200 views on their stories, which is really like low for someone who may have thousands and thousands of followers. So just don't put yourself down or don't get stressed out if you don't have like the most followers in the world, because it really doesn't matter as long as you are making products that people actually genuinely like and speak to your specific target audience and niche. Number 5, curing times. So number 5 is the final one, and curing times are really important, specifically if you are a soy-based candle maker. I personally use paraffin, so I can get away with 3 days of curing time because that's really how much you need. Whereas if you use soy, be mindful of the specific type of wax you use because it can vary between 1 week and 2 weeks. So you have to take that in mind, maybe a bit more than somebody who's like using paraffin, let's say. So I would say that you probably, as a soy-based maker, would need a bit more inventory than someone who's got paraffin, because you can't really make it to order without compromising the performance, because you don't really know if somebody's going to go ahead and like burn it straight away. What I have seen people do is put like, you know, I'm still curing, don't use it for X amount of days. I think that's just down to personal preference. But I think if you're selling it to friends and family, that's okay. But maybe if you're selling it to people who are like outside of your community or someone you don't know, it may be a bit of a weird thing for them to like receive that they have to like let it cure, because they might just not get it. So just definitely keep that in mind when you're making up your inventory. Like, I would definitely say for your first lot, if you're a soy-based person, to give it the 2-week curing time, because word of mouth is such a powerful thing of getting new customers and being recommended by people to their friends and family, that you don't really want to compromise the performance, especially when you first open. So guys, that was it from me today. I hope you found this really informative. Like I said, if you have any other suggestions of how to figure out your inventory, I'd love to know, and if you could pop it in the comment section below, I would be super grateful. And yeah, I'm super excited about launching the new collection. I'll give you an update if whether I got my inventory levels right for this time or not. But yeah, I will see you in my next video. Take care, bye!